Welcome back, everyone, to the Always Connected series. My name's Joe Higgins. I'm a medium, a channeler, an author, and researcher of the afterlife. I've written 5 books that you can find on Amazon if you'd like. But tonight, I want to talk about something specific. I want to talk about how to increase your chance of getting a sign, or increase your chance of getting some type of communication from a past loved one. Because people ask me all the time I don't get a sign. Is there any way I can, get a better chance of getting one besides just asking? And we talked about that in an early episode. Make sure you ask. I'd like to get a sign, and that you're open to receiving a sign, and they will try to get through to you to send you a sign, something that you guys would recognize. But you can also increase your odds of getting a sign by putting your body in the right frame of mind, if that makes sense, because it's difficult for them to come through if our energy is all erratic or crazy. I mean, if we're really busy and we're really stressed, it's difficult for them to try to get through that. Sometimes if the grief is overwhelming, they won't try because it's very difficult to get through that too. But they'll try it at a different time. So they'll decide when and where. But the thing is, I want to teach you a way to relax and get into a state of mind where they might find it easier to contact you. And one of the reasons I'm doing this is because I remember one of the stories I wrote in my book, one of my books called Always Connected for Those Who Have Lost Children. Okay. And you can get that on Amazon. And in one of the stories, a little girl came through and said that she wanted to contact her parents to let her know that she's still there, she still loves them, and she's still around them. But she had difficulty coming through. Her mother was still in a tremendous amount of grief, and her father was full of anger, and he was busy all the time. He was stressed out. So the combination of everything, of losing a child, obviously, and the state of mind, they found it really difficult to come through. And the little girl explained it to be like trying to contact them was trying to like get through like a fog or a lot of smog where you can't really see the horizon, and it's just difficult. It's lucky to get through, as opposed to trying to contact someone that is much more lighter. Their energy is much more relaxed. And that's like looking at us on a sunny day, you can see the horizon for miles away. So one's more difficult and murky, the other one's much more clearer. And it depends on how we are doing. If we're having a bad day, we're stressed out, our emotions all over the place, we're angry, whatever reason it is, it makes it more difficult for them to try to come through. So one of the easiest ways is try and relax. It's the old-fashioned way. Go for a walk. Get outside, walk around, try listening to some music. Might be your favorite music. Put it on the car radio, put your earphones in and just listen to whatever relaxes you. Being out in nature is a real natural healing method on all sorts of different levels. And in this case, it has a way of not only relaxing us, but it relaxes our mind. So we're almost in like a daydream state when we're just outside, because we're focusing on the temperature, how the sun might feel on our face, or how the snow might feel on our face if we're walking during a snow squall or something. And, if there's wind or if there are leaves falling on from the trees, you're aware of all of that. I mean, when you're aware of all of that, you're not thinking about your bills. You're not thinking about, all your responsibilities and things like that. Everything kind of goes to the side. So you get into that natural state. It's like a nice flow you get into. And when you do that, and the more you practice that, it's easy for them to come through, show you a sign, or even to communicate with you by putting a sentence or something right into your mind. Like you could be relaxing and stuff, and all of a sudden you could hear, "I'm okay, Daddy," or something like that. And then you'll know it's outside the normal, it's not your own voice saying it. It'll just come out of the blue. So another way of doing it is what I call active meditation, because a lot of people can't sit down. They're so jazzed up that they can't focus for 5 minutes. So they're all over the place. Now, add stress to that, add responsibilities, add grief, and it just compounds everything. So what I'd like to do is see if you can get into some type of active meditation. Now, active meditation is basically anything that's repetitive. So if you're gardening, or if you're sewing, or even painting, that's going to put you into an active meditation because you're doing something and it's repetitive and you're focused on it. And I'm sure you've all had some type of hobby or making something or something that took your attention away for a while and the time flew by. I used to have it when I was painting. I would put on the ball game at the start of the ball game at like 7 o'clock at night, and then I would start to paint. And then when I finally realized my focus came away from what I was painting, I'd hear it on the radio. Now we're now entering the seventh inning. I was like, where'd the other six innings go? Because I was so focused on the painting, my mind was not receiving anything else that was going on around me. I mean, I could hear the baseball game, but I wasn't really concentrating on it. I wasn't focused on it. I was in that state of just being aware and flowing. So you could do it, like I said, listening to music, painting, anything that's repetitive. Or, like I said, I did it through painting. You can even watch someone doing something, okay? Now, I don't know if some of you people remember Bob Ross. He had a famous TV show on for years, and he taught people how to paint. And he had a very, very calm voice, and he had a real nice personality. And you could watch one of his shows, and he would do a little painting every show. And he would just be so relaxed about it. Be like, oh, I'm going to put a little bird up here, and I think we'll put a little snowbank over here. It was the way he talked and the way he painted. It was like so relaxing. I put it on, and it's just like, I mean, he was just really cool. Other people have said, like, oh, sometimes I watch people paint a house or something, and I just watch them, and it just relaxes them. So I just want you to get the idea. You're not locked into one particular activity to find some time to relax and de-stress yourself. So anything that's repetitive or anything that kind of puts you in that dreamlike state or the daydream state. Some people in sports call it in the zone, in basketball. And you could be shooting hoops too, or throwing a ball against a wall or something like that. That's all active meditation. And when these athletes get in the zone, everything seems to kind of block out and gray out, and they can focus and they just flow at what they're doing, and everything else is secondary. So if you can get yourself into the zone, you get a better chance of receiving a sign. And so what happened was this girl's father started listening to music. He started going back and pulling up some of his old tapes and records and stuff and started listening to him. And she found it much easier to actually get in and give him a sign, which he received, and she was very happy to. She was still waiting on the mother for her to go through her grief process and finding a time where she'd try to send a sign to her. But she did get through to the father, and she was basically wanting to let him know that to release his guilt and anger, and that would bring a little bit more peace to the environment and make it easier for her to come through with other signs. So that's basically it. That's for your homework tonight. But just it's a heads up, just to give you guys a couple extra, possibilities to work on. The least thing you're going to get is you're going to learn to relax. You're going to have any extra outlets to relax, and you just might get a sign from your loved one. So if you like this, hit the share and subscribe, because we're going to have a lot more tips and information on a lot of stuff dealing with signs and people crossing over. And I'm going to do a whole series on my book for the people who have lost children. Because when children come through with their signs, they're crazy good. They come up with all this wild stuff. They're really, really good. They get excited about it because their energy is just so pure. But so that's it for this episode. So make sure you, like I said, hit the like so other people can find us. And I will talk to you soon. Be good.